Now on KREM 2 News, in just a few days, President-elect Joe Biden will be inaugurated. And happening now, thousands of National Guard members are on standby to protect D.C. and state capitals.
Looking at some pretty uneventful weather across the inland northwest this week, but tracking the potential for much cooler than normal temperatures for a change for this upcoming weekend and beyond, which could put a little bit more snow into the mix.
And thousands are still without power for the fifth day after a devastating windstorm. We're seeing where the city is in cleanup efforts tonight. KREM 2 News starts now. Good evening. It's good to have you here with us. I'm Tim Pham. A step forward for reopening Washington. If you've missed going out to eat, we have some good news for you. Under Washington's new reopening plan, some restaurants can resume indoor dining. That's if they can meet the state's open-air seating concept. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley has more on these new guidelines.
Well, here at the Saranac Commons, this open garage door is an example of Washington State's open-air indoor dining requirements. So what that means is you can once again eat out to some of your favorite restaurants that meet these requirements. Doors are literally opening for indoor dining options. Under the Washington State reopening guidelines, you can once again eat out at some of your favorite restaurants. Spokane is currently in phase 1 of reopening. That means restaurants and bars are closed for indoor dine-in service. But those that can meet the state's open-air dining guidelines can resume indoor seating at 25% capacity.
It feels great. It's awesome to have the opportunity to open up even just for 25% capacity. It's felt like kind of the only bone that the governor's thrown at us in the last, 2 months, and feels like a big step reopening for the second time this year.
State guidelines say open-air seating occurs in a structure with one or more permeable exterior walls, allowing maximum airflow. Meeting this requirement also includes continuously monitoring CO2 levels to ensure adequate airflow. Examples of this include open bay doors, multiple open windows, screened openings, and open tent panels. Single windows and interior entrance or emergency exit doors do not count toward this concept.
It's a small thing, but how everything's been going, it's a big thing right now.
Cascadia Public House in North Spokane opened its garage doors today and is now offering indoor dining.
We're excited to be able to bring some people inside. I know it's a little chilly in there, so make sure you bring your sweatshirt.
Even at 25% capacity, being able to be inside and hang out with your friends is super important.
At Saranac Commons in downtown Spokane, many people have already taken advantage of eating out again. Peace Pie owner Isaac Hauger says the open air concept has also benefited those who lost power this week.
Yesterday, we had quite a few people that came down not only for food, but to use our space and our tables to study because we have Wi-Fi for work. Due to the windstorm we've recently had, we're very happy to be able to provide a space that people can have the option to keep going.
Now, we've put together a growing list of restaurants here in the Spokane area where you can now dine in. Just text the word EAT to the number 448-2000 to get that list, as well as a breakdown of the new guidelines. Reporting in downtown Spokane tonight, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Amanda, thank you. Well, this week, the Washington State Department of Health says no regions in the state will move out of phase 1 right now. The governor's new plan uses 4 data points to determine when a region can move to the next phase of reopening. Every Friday, the state will release this data. Our region is made up of 9 counties in eastern Washington. Now, the good news, though, the data release shows the 2-week trend of new COVID cases in our area actually decreased by 26%, and hospitalizations are down by 11%. Our ICU capacity is at 74%, which is well below the 90% capacity the state is requiring regions to meet in order to move to the next phase. The one metric that is holding our area back from moving forward into the next phase is the positivity rate. This week, our region is sitting at 17%. The state is requiring it to be less than 10%. All right, let's get to weather now. Parts of the inland northwest are still recovering from that devastating windstorm. But meteorologist Michelle Boss joining us now. Michelle, I heard we may have a quiet weather week ahead. That'll definitely be some welcome news to folks.
Yeah, no big storms on the way for this week. We did see a little weak storm system move through overnight and this morning and brought some rain or a mixture of rain and snow to the region. Most folks didn't see a whole lot of precipitation in total. Spokane about 370 inch. We had a mixture of rain and snow. Of course, none of it stuck as temperatures were too warm. Had a little bit of a burst there in Coeur d'Alene. They got the most, almost 2/10 of an inch. Again, most of that in the form of rain. Pullman less than 1/10 of an inch, and Moses Lake stayed dry overnight. As we take a look at satellite and radar right now, things are pretty quiet across the region. No rain or snow to be seen. Saw a little bit of sunshine out in central and northeastern Washington earlier this afternoon. Spokane didn't quite clear out those low clouds. Even if we do later on this evening, we'll likely see some patchy fog move right back in overnight and tomorrow morning. 34 degrees in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. Still in the 40s in Moses Lake, 37 in Othello, and lower 40s in the Lewiston area. Here's a look at the next 12 hours, especially if those clouds break up. We're going to see some colder temperatures overnight. We will be dipping below freezing. In fact, we'll be down into the upper 20s overnight. Again, possibilities for some patchy fog, but we should see some sunshine tomorrow afternoon with highs pretty close to average this time of year. 36 degrees for your Monday, partly to mostly cloudy skies on Tuesday and Wednesday. Highs again in the mid-30s.
Thousands of households in the Spokane area are still without power for the 5th day. There are more than 7,200 Avista customers who are still without power in the Spokane area. Meanwhile, across the state line, there are 81 Kootenai Electric customers waiting for their power to be restored. And there are only 9 Inland Power customers who are waiting for their power to be turned back on. While the extended outages are filling up hotels for the first time during the COVID-19 pandemic, one family told us it was so cold in their house they could actually see their breath. Now, the general manager of the Holiday Express in Spokane said it's nice to finally have guests to take care of.
Nature has her own way of handling things, and we appreciate her help on our end, but we're also here to support the community.
Avista says they expect power to be restored to most customers by tomorrow. Well, today we're learning more about what President-elect Joe Biden plans to do on his first day in office. So let's take a closer look at President-elect Biden's first executive orders. On day one, he plans to end restrictions on immigration to the U.S. from some Muslim-majority countries, rejoin the Paris Climate Accord, and make masks mandatory on federal property and during interstate travel. He will also extend the pause on student loan payments and take other action intended to prevent evictions and foreclosures for those struggling during the pandemic. Meanwhile, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris is set to resign from the United States Senate tomorrow. That's according to CBS News. Aides say California Governor Gavin Newsom will appoint California Secretary of State Alex Padilla to serve the rest of Harris's term. Padilla will be the first Latino senator from California, a state where 40% of residents are Hispanic. Well, this week, 600 members of the Washington National Guard will be stationed in Olympia. The FBI warned all 50 states to be prepared for demonstrations and possible violence as we near the inauguration. 400 citizen soldiers from Washington will join thousands of others providing security in Washington, D.C. this week. That's after the riot at the United States Capitol on January 6th. Tomorrow, we celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King. He's an activist, of course, and a spokesperson and leader in the civil rights movement until his assassination in 1968. So here are some events in the Spokane area celebrating King's life and legacy this month. Tomorrow, Odell Bizzle, an inspirational storyteller and keynote speaker, will be giving a talk on Zoom. Now, this event is through Whitworth University. Bizzle will be talking about what Dr. King would be teaching today. On the 28th, Gonzaga will be hosting a virtual conversation for campus members called Beyond the Shirt. The university will be discussing how to be an ally for the Black community. We're just getting started here on the news at 6. A false text message chain has been sent around. It claims President Trump will institute 30 days of martial law before President-elect Biden's inauguration. But is this legitimate? Our verified team checks it out.